I know you won't swing, but this is the parry, this is the paw, uppercut. It's getting scary, it's getting scary. Treasure the truth or risk getting buried. I'm on a mission, you hear me? Yeah, this is the green light if we say go. And other boxing news, recently Claressa Shields and Laila Ali in their ongoing back and forth feud seems like it has officially come to an end. At least as far as talks of a fight between the two taking place. Claressa Shields, or I should say Laila Ali, has let it be known officially that she is not interested in the $15 million fight after saying that that's what it would take to get her back into the ring with this fight. After saying that, that's the type of money that it would take exactly, which is way more than you've ever seen. Sis, you ain't lying. I'm lying. Yeah. Her biggest paycheck was $600,000 and she had the chance, the opportunity to make $15 million. And if anything, and maybe it was smart that she didn't take the fight. She's 48 years old. It might not be the best choice for her to take this fight at this stage, but her not taking the fight and not taking that 15 million, it's one of those things where it's like, for what she did do for the sport. I know I've been very critical of Laila Ali in past videos, but I will say for what Laila Ali has done for the sport, what she has accomplished as far as the recognition and notoriety, and as far as even legitimizing the sport with the brand with the Ali brand, her name being a brand was able to legitimize the sport in itself, even though it really looked like, it was I'm going to exploit my name. The fact that she had the type of career that she did shows that she had good strength. She was a strong fighter. Yeah, she definitely was champion. She became champion and she was undefeated, retired undefeated. Regardless if she didn't fight Ann Wolf or not, the fact that she was undefeated has to be noted. And the fact that she fought Valerie Matfu, who knocked out Ann Wolf previously. So the fact that she fought Matfu and defeated her, there is some legitimacy to her as a fighter. The fact that she didn't fight Ann Wolf, though, will always be one of those travesties in boxing. It's one of those, it's like we all wanted to see that, right? You say you're the best, she says she's the best. She was kind of looking like the best, and you had the name and you had the notoriety and the pretty looks. Don't get me wrong, because Ann Wolf is a done, and don't get it twisted. Ann Wolf is a done, and that's a right there. Yeah, that's the homie right there. That's what I'm not saying she's not a female. That's 100%. She's 100% female. Yeah, but like 100% woman, and she's 100% me. And yeah, she definitely is. So salute and shout out to Ann Wolf, who does not get her flowers enough, does not get her justice due when it comes to the sport of legitimizing women's boxing. Because we're talking about a time where we didn't know who the talent was at yet. You look at the records of a lot of these fighters when they fought each other, and you look at the resumes of some of these fighters. You had the Aaron Tough Hills and Monica Nunez's and Valerie Matfu, Marianne Almager, and these were like the usual suspects in women's boxing. Yeah, it wasn't that many. There weren't that many. The talent we were shifting and figuring out who was who with the talent. And at the time, Laila Ali was early. She came where it was a beautiful moment. Christy Martin was super faded. She was also a lot smaller than her. So by the time that they did fight, it was a travesty in the ring. And the destroyer, Lucia Riker, she was pretty much seemed like she was kind of through with the sport overall. She couldn't get the Christy Martin fight. It just seemed like she was one of the first really talented female boxers to make me say, okay, there are women really practicing, honing, and understanding the craft. They're really working out. They are really working out. They are really getting it right and really getting that sharp, and they're getting it sharp. Now, the first time I really saw that, with Laila Ali not taking this fight, I feel like she kind of deserves the 15 million. I feel like she deserves it. And it's kind of like retribution for what she did, but it would come at a great cost. And I think that maybe she realizes that, and at the cost, that reward doesn't outweigh the risk that's being risked to get that 15 million. Claressa ain't gonna play with it. You know what I mean? If it came down to it, I'm surprised she actually turned it down. I thought she was gonna take that. She is gonna take that. But she said she needed like a whole year to 8 months to a year for her to get back in shape. That's what she said. Laila Ali said it would take her 8 months to a year to get back in shape, right? Which already sounded like a fight that's not gonna happen. Because she'll be, 50 years old by the time that she would be ready to fight.
after she said, didn't she say she was in shape and ready to fight? Yeah, she did say that. Didn't she say she could do it? Yeah. Now it'll take her 8 to 10 months to do it. Yep. I mean, I get it, Ali. She had your turn, but I'm like, who's gonna wait? Ain't nobody gonna wait that long. Claressa Shields probably could have fought 2 times within. I mean, if they could sign the fight and say, okay, in 8 months, if they could sign the fight right now, which would be a fight would be happening in that would be like what, February, something like that, February, March, early spring. You fight in early spring. I mean, that wouldn't be too long of a waiting in that aspect. As far as like waiting for that fight, that wouldn't be too long of a wait. If we did 8 months from right now, 8 months to a year, I don't know about a year. She said about 8 months to a year. I know she said that, but we're talking 15 million on the table now. You don't get that much. We giving you some leeway now, but you don't get it like that. You know what I mean? He said 8 months. Yeah, I mean, so we gonna go with the 8 months, maybe 9. You might stretch it to 9.5. Like I said, something in the spring, early spring. Claressa Shields said, she said early April. Claressa Shields said Laila Ali scared to fight her. It came out of Claressa Shields' mouth. Well, I mean, that scared me because she was like, I don't know. I don't know if it's fear, like we would like we think, but I think there's concern. I definitely think, I think is concern about what could happen to her if she steps in that ring and what could happen to her legacy. You've got to understand there's legacies at stake here. It's not just, like she has a legacy and she's remembered in a certain way, and she still has that donut. She don't want to get that donut dipped in coffee. Yeah, she definitely doesn't want that. Then she will regret it. But 15 million, I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Yeah, I ain't gonna regret 15 million. I wouldn't regret 15 million. And the built excuse loses, I don't care. And you got the built-in excuse. I'm 48 years old. What the hell did you expect of me? I'm 49. I'm damn near 50 years old. This girl is 30. I'm 17 years old. This girl at 88, what the critics are going to say. Well, you shouldn't have taken the fight. And of course they're going to say that. But that's when you got to laugh. That's when you got to laugh to the bank. That's when you got to laugh yourself to the bank on that. Because, of course, the critic is going to be talking crazy. The critics are talking stupidly. You say, oh, typical. You know what I mean? When you get shit knocked, your block is knocked off. Yeah. Block knocked off. Social media is going to be crazy. She's an Ali on top of that. Like, we can't forget. She's still an Ali. Regardless of whether she's her father or not, she's still an Ali. Ali. Yep. So she still has that name, and that name is part of her legacy. And that's going to definitely be not a good look. So I'm disappointed though, and I didn't like the way Laila was carrying on the whole situation. The way she was I'm going to make up my mind. I'm going to get my decision when I'm ready. Like, nobody is bullying you to decide nothing, but nobody's trying to bully you, Laila, to make that happen. Exactly. We just wanted to know, because you came out there, you said 15 million, and then, oh, guess what? The 15 million is here. Let's make it happen. And all of a sudden, no, I'm going to say when I ain't get nobody going to make me say nothing. Exactly. Talking all talk, sweet and hard at the same time. What's funny? What's good? But with Laila Ali, she was like, you know what I mean? She was like, yeah, you know what I mean? She ain't got no knockout ratio like how I did and all this stuff, talking about she doesn't really have knockout power. Now, Laila Ali hit hard. Yeah, Laila Ali could crack. That's a big girl. But Claressa Ali is a big girl. Yeah, but Laila's a big girl, and a lot of her fights is just being too big for these girls. Like, if you want to be honest, a lot of her victories were her being able to use her size and her stature as an advantage. She was able to use her size and bully her opponents around with that size. Exactly. That's all. Now and it almost didn't work against Jackie. I think Claressa is on another level. Jackie like afraid of the Laila Ali. Claressa is definitely on another level. Claressa is on another level. Claressa, you have to give it a GOAT status. I mean, what's out there for Claressa right now? No. What could Claressa do right now? Yeah. Went to 3 different weight classes? 2. 3 different weight classes. Went to the heavyweight division. Went to a heavyweight division, undisputed. Gabriel Fondora?
That sweet poison, I think that's what they call her right now. She's my favorite right now. You know, she's my favorite. Elisa Bongard, yeah. She nice. I love her too. She's growing on me. She really grew on me right there. Claressa, she's best as is right now though. But all that said, she's still the best as is. Yeah, the whole women's box. Yep. I can't deny that. Shadia Green. Now, Shadia Green is somebody who seems like she may be a viable threat. Yeah, I don't know if I would say she's better or would give her a victory, but she seems like a viable threat though. She seems like somebody who is a legitimate contender, right? And that's what we're talking about. You know, she is definitely heavy-handed. She heavy-handed. I wonder how much she would have made if they were able to get 15 million to pay Laila Ali. I wonder how, because I'm pretty sure there wasn't another 15 million to go around for that fight. I can't even see Laila Ali getting 15 million in the fight making money with Claressa getting her 1.2 or 1.5 to 2 million that she normally gets. I couldn't even see the fight making money with that 16.5 to 17 million person that will have to start at. I mean, this has to be a big fight for it, right? You really have a lot of people are going to have to tune in on that one. Right. But it had the potential to be possibly the biggest women's fight ever. True. It definitely had that potential. Either make the fight or don't, I don't think we're going to hear anything about it. It seems like Laila Ali has made up her mind that she's decided that she's not going to make this fight. She's not going to take the 15 million. Well, you know, Laila Ali, you know, you turned down the 15 million and, you know, it might have been a wise decision, but all the stuff you've been saying and now that you turned the money down, it's pretty much nothing to say. And maybe you did the right thing. You don't want to risk ending up like your father did late in his career, sticking around fighting too many fights. The Laila Ali name clearly isn't invincible. You know, there clearly was a point where Father Time, who catches up with everybody, definitely caught up with your father. And he was a lot younger than you are. So you're talking about having your father's genes, which is something to be mindful of. And I'm pretty sure you thought about that. So the fact that he turned it down, I just don't want to hear you speaking badly about Claressa Shields again when you had the chance to do what you said you could do. You said you could get back in the ring and fight, right? She said that, right? She said that, right, see? Yeah, definitely. Yes, she said that. She said, I get back in the ring and fight. She said for 15 to 20, but 15 means that 15 is what she would start at. But 15 million she would consider, that's what it would take to consider her to get back in the ring, for her to hide back in the ring. That's what she has definitely said. The money came and she tucked tail and exited stage left. Simple as that. So stay stage left with that and keep up with, you know, the next time I hear about you, I want to see some of that stuff you done baked. I want to see some of that cooking. I want to see some of that Laila Ali cooking. Right. I don't want to hear anything about what you could have done to this one and this little girl and how you would have. Nah, we don't want to hear that. That's over with. What you think? See, yeah, that's over with. I don't even want to hear anymore. They brought the 15 million to your attention and you turned it down like it wasn't nothing. Like, nah, I don't want to hear anything else. You think she was scared? I think she was scared. Yeah. For 15 million? Come on. Win or lose, I'm getting in there. Win or lose. Win or lose. I ain't got that type of bread either. Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab.